Hi, welcome to Lesson 8 in our geometry series. Today we're going to speak about 30, 60, 90 degree right triangle. So the second type of special right triangle, in our last lesson we covered 45, 45, 90. And in this one we're specifically talking about a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Just as we had in the 45, 45, 90, your 30, 60, 90 right triangle also has some specific proportions of sizes. So these are right triangles, so they obviously have a right angle. The other two angles are 30 and 60. Your legs will not be the same length because you have a big angle and you have a little angle. So we'll have a 60-degree angle and we'll have a 30-degree angle. And the other one will be our 90. And that's our 30, 60, 90 right triangle. So there are specific ratios that you have for this, and they come in the form of 1, 2, and root 3. Now out of those, just a little bit of review as to which one is the bigger number. We automatically want to say root 3 is the biggest. But let's go back just a little bit and do just a little bit of review on root. To the square root of 1, you have the square root of 4, and maybe you have the square root of 25, and even in between there is the square root of 9. So as we look at those, and you can put them into your calculator, what are they? Well, the square root of 1 is 1. Yes, there is a plus or a minus in there. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 25 is 5. So what I need for you to see is the bigger that your radicand gets, the number under the radical, as it increases, so does your final answer. These get bigger. I said all that to say this. We look at 1, that's actually the square root of 1, okay? So here's our 1. 2 is actually the square root of 4. Where would root 3 go on this radical number line? Well, it would go right here because 3 is between 1 and 4. Remember, root 3 is the square root of 3. So of those numbers, 2 is the largest. 1 is the shortest. 2 is the longest. Root 3 is the middle. How does that translate to our triangle? Well, this is 1. This is 1 times 2. And the bottom one is 1 times root 3. That's your middle length or your long leg, because the hypotenuse is your longest side of any right triangle. 2 is the largest of those 3 numbers. Now I put the 1 times in front so that you'll see a pattern. Whatever the length of the short leg is, for the hypotenuse, we're going to multiply it by 2. And for the longer leg, we're going to multiply it by root 3. Let's put some real numbers with this. Let's say the long leg, excuse me, the short leg of a right triangle is 5. So the short leg is 5. We'll put this measurement in red. What does that make the hypotenuse if the short leg is 5? Now look at your yellow highlighted patterns. What do we do with the measurement of the short leg? Times 2 to get the hypotenuse. So 5 times 2, so that equals 10. So your hypotenuse is 10. What is the longer leg measurement? Well, the longer leg measurement is 5 times root 3. And when you put that in your calculator, it will simplify it for you. So in our calculator, let's just make sure that 5 times root 3 really is simply 5 root 3, because you've got to have simplest form. So we have 5 times, get your root symbol, second, x squared, 3. 5 root 3. That is simplest form, and if you need to estimate it as a decimal, for some reason on your assessment, click your switcheroozy button, was 8.66. Final answer, 5 root 3, and if you need to estimate it, 8.66. So this is actually written in simplest form, not 5 times root 3, but 5 root 3. It is approximately 8.66. So again, we were getting bigger. So if you know the short leg, here's a little rule. If you know the short leg, the others are longer. That's a bigger number. So you multiply. If you know the hypotenuse or the longer leg, you divide to get the short leg. Because on this one, it's all different. All right. So let's say, for instance, that we're given the long leg, not the hypotenuse, but the long leg. We'll put these measurements in blue so you can separate them from everything else. So let's say that the long leg of the triangle is 10. Well, to go from the long leg to the short leg, we know we have to divide. What will we divide by? So the short leg, look at your yellow highlights on the original pattern. We took the short leg and multiplied it by root 3 to get the long leg. So in reverse, we will take the long leg and we will divide it by very misleading arrow. We have to go this way. Except for that, we're going to divide by root 3 because it's getting shorter. And between short and long leg, the scale factor is root 3. So it's 10 divided by root 3. You have to put that in your calculator because remember, do not leave a radical symbol in the denominator. Ever, 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 never. So let's go to our calculator and we're going to figure out what 10 divided by root 3 is. Imagine how kids did this before the calculator. 10 divided by second x squared 3. And there's your final answer. So the measurement of that short leg is 10 root 3 over 3. 10 root 3 over 3. Now, how do we get from the short leg to the hypotenuse? Well, look at your original green pattern that we made. So from short leg to hypotenuse, that is simply times 2. And in reverse, it would be divided by 2. So 10 root 3 times 2, we need the calculator again. 10 root 3 over 3, all we need to do is push times. You see how it brought our answer down? 2. Enter. 20 root 3 over 3. 20 root 3 over 3 is the length of the hypotenuse when you have the combination of blue numbers. All right, that is if we were given the long leg first. If you're given the long leg, so we'll put it down here. If you are given the long leg, divide by root 3 to get the short leg. Then times 2 to get the hypotenuse. What if you're given the hypotenuse? Let's get rid of some of our red numbers here. Our original. Let's keep this out of the way for just a minute. Let's give us a new set of red numbers. The green is our original pattern. That's our rule. So if we're starting with the red numbers now and we have the hypotenuse. So we're going to be given the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse is 7. Now there is no relationship between the hypotenuse and the long leg. You can't get to the long leg from the hypotenuse. But if you're going from the hypotenuse to the short leg, it's simply divide by 2. All you got to do from getting to the hypotenuse to that short leg is divide by 2. Because if you went from the short leg to the hypotenuse, look at the blue arrow, that was multiplied by 2. Opposite, it gets shorter. If the number gets smaller, we must be dividing. 7 divided by 2. And that you can just leave that as a fraction, 7 over 2. If they ask you to approximate, you could put it in your calculator and get a decimal. Now the long leg is longer than the short leg. So if we're going from the long leg, from the short leg to the long leg, it's getting bigger, right? If it's getting bigger, you must be multiplying. What are you going to multiply by to get from the short leg to the long leg? Well, look at your notes from last step. If you went from the long leg to the short leg, you divided by root 3. So to go from the short leg to the long leg, I think I might have just said that backwards. If you go from the long leg to the short leg, we divide by root 3 because it gets shorter. If you're going from the short leg to the long leg measurement, it's getting bigger, so you must be multiplying. This is times root 3 to get this measurement. We started with the hypotenuse, divided by 2 to get to the short leg, and now we're going to multiply by √3 to get our long leg. So we have 7/2 times √3. N/D will get our fraction. 7, directional pad down, 2, directional pad to the right, times √3. Second, square root 3. 7/2 times √3 is just that. It doesn't get any simpler than that. 7√3/2. If you need to approximate it, you can. Just switcheroozy. So it's about 6. 7√3/2. Is the measure of that long leg. And if you need it approximated, it is about 6. And you could even say 6.1 if you wanted. Okay? So if you're given the hypotenuse, here's your next rule to write. If given the hypotenuse, divide by 2 to get the short leg, then times √3 to get the long leg. It's just the opposite of the other one over here. Okay. So follow the blue arrows for the blue rule and the red arrows for the red rule. And remember that original pattern in the green, the short leg is 1. You multiply the short leg times 2 to get the hypotenuse. And you multiply the short leg times √3 to get the long leg. And you've got plenty of practice on these in this worksheet. Remember, as always, you must upload a picture of your notes from this video. That's going to be question number 1. You're going to upload a picture of your work shown. So you're going to draw and label these triangles. You're going to write these problems down, and you're going to write your steps out. Times √3 times 2, divide by. You're going to write out the steps. So when it says show work, it means the steps are written out, just like I wrote them on this video. And that's going to be on number 2. And then questions 3 through 30 are your multiple choice answers from the worksheet. All right. Then you'll just put all those in on the Google form. I will see you in the next lesson.